Today we're back in Castroville, Texas, which is roughly 15 or so minutes west of San Antonio, in a neighborhood that we've actually already highlighted on the channel. This is going to be Alsatian Oaks, and we're going to show you Perry's 60-foot model. This is actually a floor plan that we haven't shown on the channel yet, so I'm excited. It's actually one of my favorite floor plans by Perry, and we're also going to give you a little bit of an update on what's going on in and around the neighborhood. But before we do that, if you're new to the channel, my name is Quentin Starks, and I'm be your realtor for the next few minutes. If you can do me a huge favor, go down below and drop a like on the video. It truly does help support the channel. And if you don't want to miss out on anything when it comes to the greater San Antonio area, we encourage you guys to subscribe. Without further ado, let's go inside and check out this gorgeous property. In Alsatian Oaks, the 60-foot model by Perry Homes is going to be the 2944 floor plan. The number coincides with the square footage, so just under 3,000 square foot. This is going to be a one-story, so it's a large one-story, 4-bed, 3.5 bath. On the right is a 2-car with a tandem, so 3-car garage, and it does have all the bells and whistles, really nice upgrades, as well as a study and entertainment room. And in this neighborhood, Perry does start in the high 500s, with most of their inventory being just over 500,000. As we get to the entryway, you have this awesome 8-foot door, 8-foot doors all the way throughout, which is amazing. And this one is gonna be glass accented with the wood. And then as we enter the home, you see all the way to the back, which is amazing. But before we get too deep, let's start right here on the right with your study. So really good size study. You can have adamant furniture in here. You could even do built-ins if you wanted to on the back to give you more storage in here. Nonetheless, you do have a nice fixed window up top with the double, bringing in a lot of natural light. And they are gonna be double door French doors, which is really cool. Over here on the left, we are gonna have your first 2 bedrooms and a bathroom. So pretty good sized bedrooms. This is gonna be front facing. Got 2 really nice windows facing towards the front. And Perry's really good about pretty much always doing walk-in closets for all their bedrooms. Something that they're pretty known for, that and these amazing 8-foot doors. Nonetheless, splitting the 2 bedrooms is going to be a bathroom. So you have a single vanity right here, a little oversized with some extra storage and countertop space. And I love how you have this kind of dividing door. So if the kids are getting ready in the morning, someone's brushing their teeth, someone can also be taking a shower simultaneously. So pretty nice that they did that. And you have the tub shower combo there. And then over here is going to be the secondary bedroom. Pretty similar size, pretty good. And then it does also have a nice little walk-in closet over there. So before we go across to the garage, I did want to mention this awesome ceiling design. So they did a tray ceiling with the beams. This is not necessarily standard, but something that Perry does do pretty often. Nonetheless, right here is where the garage would be. So a 2-car wide garage with the tandem, and you'll see that on screen with the floor plan. So you have adamant space in the garage, and then as you get out of the garage, you do have a mud bench there. And then here's going to be your powder room. So nice floating vanity. Love the tile work they did in here. And then you also have, obviously, the toilet in here. As we continue on, before we get to the heart of the home, here's gonna be that entertainment or media room. So really nice sized media room. I personally would probably have my couch on like one of these walls facing the other way, because you know I love a good sectional. So that's probably how I would have it laid out. But nonetheless, really good space, whether it's a kid's play area, you do use it as like a media or theater room. And the good thing too is, since Perry is kind of that semi-custom home builder, you can get it pre-wired for all the low voltage. So all you gotta do is put speakers in, which is quite nice. And then these are gonna be double door, not glass accented. And then on either side, you are gonna have a nice little storage closet or linen closet, which is awesome. Give you a real quick sneak peek of the heart of the home. Dining, living, kitchen on the right. But let's go check out this bedroom before we get over there. So here's gonna be the third secondary bedroom. Perry's really good about having a bathroom or an ensuite with their 4-bedroom homes. So this is gonna be the ensuite for the secondary bedrooms. Pretty nice sized bathroom, another oversized vanity with the extra storage space there. And then they did just a stand-up foundation inset shower, which is amazing. And then I'll open this for you guys. This is gonna be a step-in closet, kind of a walk-in, but step-in closet. Still similar space to the last 2 bedrooms is really the biggest thing when it comes to closet space, obviously. So 3 of the bedrooms, this is also gonna be some storage right here. Let me get that open. Nice little linen for you guys. And then over here is going to be the laundry room. So decent sized laundry. Obviously you have enough space for both the units. They put some hanging space up top. And then you do have space right here if you wanted to put an extra appliance. Probably couldn't be the biggest fridge or anything like that, but a mini fridge or maybe a mini freezer right there would certainly work out pretty well. We are now back in the heart of the home. So we'll actually start here with the dining space. Kind of like how it's tucked almost in its own little area, but it's still in the living and kitchen area, so you can still entertain very easily, watch TV if you're eating, whatever the case may be. Nonetheless, huge space. They currently have just a 6-seater here, but you could easily fit probably an 8, and then 10 would be pushing it, but you could probably get it in here if you wanted to. And then I love how they have this back wall where you can easily put, similar to what they have, china display, a hutch, maybe a buffet. So when you are hosting, people can come and grab and go. Something that Perry is also known for is these amazing fixed windows. You'll see them here, but you normally also see them on that back wall over there. But instead, they did the sliding glass doors to give you kind of that indoor-outdoor living if you felt the need to do it. That is definitely an upgrade, so you don't have to do it, but either way, you would get amazing fixed windows back there. And then just look at this huge living room. Really nice space. I love how the fireplace kind of divides and gives you a centerpiece to mount a TV if you'd like. And then you do obviously have the opportunity of wrapping in whatever you'd like, whether it's tile, stone, whatever the case may be. But adamant space in this living room to put a bunch of furniture and really lay it out how you want to. And then, I don't know why, but I really like how they have these kind of, not built-ins, but furniture sets on either side of the fireplace. Looks really, really cool. As we continue on to the kitchen, actually before the kitchen, I do want to also mention the ceiling height. Look at the ceiling height in here. This makes this house look so much bigger. You would think this house was like 3,500 square feet with how open it is. And again, I think it really has something to do with the ceiling height. Nonetheless, here in the kitchen, really huge and nice sized kitchen. You have a ginormous island going on there, and they actually did the cabinet look-alike all the way around. There aren't actual functional cabinets around the island, but I'm glad they didn't do just drywall or something like that. And I do really love this black and white kind of going on in here. But again, with Perry being that semi-custom home builder, if you don't like the colors, you could always build from the ground up and choose exactly what you'd like. Over here on the right is obviously gonna be the fridge, but you do have your built-in appliances. So you have the oven and the microwave. And then I did wanna mention the cabinets do go all the way up in here. Not necessarily standard, but a feature that a lot of my clients do love doing when they build from the ground up. Regardless, you do have a corner pantry going on here. And then I didn't even mention this, but they have the two-tone cabinet look. So black on the bottom with the white up top. And then another feature that is always a little extra is gonna be those glass accented doors up top, the panes with the lights going in. Definitely an upgrade, but nonetheless, it's a cool little upgrade. I do love how they did the vent hood wrapped in cabinets. And then this neighborhood by default is electric, but you have the opportunity of putting that gas propane outside and turning the cooking into gas, which I know a lot of people love. Speaking of love, you guys know I love when the island has the sink. Very easy to entertain or watch TV while you're doing the dishes. And just kind of, this will give you a really good view. You could easily entertain in the dining, living, or over here in the breakfast nook, which we'll look at next. So pretty good size. You do have obviously extra seating in here. Not the biggest room by any means, but you obviously do have the formal dining and the seating on the island. And then more fixed windows that I love by Perry. I love when they do that. The fixed windows just make a huge difference in homes. But over there is where the primary would be. We'll check that out after we look at the backyard. So let's go through these sliding glass doors and check out the backyard. So these don't collapse all the way, but they would go to that third pane, which is nice. And then boom, you enter out into your backyard oasis. So let me turn around and give you a feel for what the covered patio would look like. So this would be what would come with the home, the covered patio, right? Where I'm standing on the deck is definitely something that you'd have to pay for and or do if you wanted to. Speaking of pay or do if you wanted to, this is a obviously outdoor kitchen. This also does not come standard, but what they do elect to do for you guys is put a gas stub or snub, whatever you want to call it, gas line essentially, so you can do the outdoor kitchen if you actually wanted to. And then if we look at the lot, this isn't going to be a huge lot. Again, it's 60 wide by about 120, 130 deep, just depending on exactly what lot you're looking at. So you're not going to have a crazy backyard, especially when you're looking at this big of a one-story. But if they didn't do the putt-putt and they didn't do the deck, you still would have adequate space back here for the pets to play with the kids, maybe put a trampoline or a playscape. Or if you really wanted a pool, you would definitely still have enough space for that in this backyard. So now let's talk about what's going on in and around this neighborhood. So Alsatian Oaks is gonna be kind of like a mid-size master plan community. It's gonna be roughly 900 or so homes. But what's cool about this neighborhood is the front section is actually gonna have a bunch of commercial. So you're gonna have different dentists and like doctor offices. You're gonna have a bunch of different food, shopping. There's a list of confirmed tenants that will pop on screen. It's kind of like a little bit of a rendering, if you will, but those are gonna be some of the confirmed tenants. And all of that is looking to be finished by, or at least the first phase, I should say, is looking to be finished by summer of next year. So all that will be here for the residents to enjoy very soon. Alongside that, the main road through Alsatian Oaks isn't finished yet, unfortunately, but that also is looking at being finished within the next few months. They're projecting late October. So if and when you do move in here, you'll have all that great stuff to look forward to alongside a 4.5 acre amenity center that's supposed to have like all the bells and whistles. So you're gonna have a pool. It's supposed to be like a resort style pool, clubhouse. You're gonna have like a park, dog park, and they're even looking at putting a community garden there, which is quite nice as well. This neighborhood is gonna be zoned to Medina Valley ISD, which is pretty good for the area. It's gonna be highly rated on niche.com. So if you have little ones or planning on having kids, that's a pretty good addition to the neighborhood. And then on top of that, the tax rate for the neighborhood is gonna be at 2.3% with no PID or MUD or anything like that. So a fixed 2.3% tax rate, which is awesome. And then the HOA for the neighborhood is gonna be $550 a year. So if we go outside the neighborhood, we're gonna be right off of Highway 90. So that main entryway is gonna connect to 90, and it's gonna be a very quick commute to San Antonio, roughly 15 or so minutes to shopping, 15, 20 minutes to some shopping and dining. If you wanna go a little bit further, you could always go all the way to downtown, which is probably gonna be roughly 30 minutes. Also, obviously depending on when you do leave, but the city of Castroville has a decent amount going on for it being a smaller suburb or city. You have obviously downtown Castroville, which is kind of a cute little area. Then you have a bunch of local shopping there, boutiques, things of that nature. You do, like I mentioned earlier, have Medina Valley ISD. You have Medina Lake, which isn't too far, as well as some rivers and some natural hikes and things of that nature. So cool little small town vibe. The people and the clients that typically hit me up or reach out to me about this neighborhood want a slower pace. They don't want to be in San Antonio, not necessarily in the big city, but still close enough to enjoy it. And that's exactly what you get here in Castroville and Alsatian Oaks. So With all that being said, let's go back inside and check out the rest of the property. So going back into the property through these amazing sliding glass doors, we'll give you one last look at the heart of the home. Just amazing, love Perry. Anywho, we'll go towards the primary and show you the last room. And I love how they do this. They have this kind of like coffee bar area right here. I think this is perfect for your little coffee area. It's tucked away. It's not kind of in the kitchen, making a mess over here. Again, it has its like dedicated area, so I really like that. Nonetheless, look at this ridiculous primary bedroom. Really good size. Love how they kept the same flooring throughout the house in here. And then you have that amazing ceiling design up there. Again, Perry does some really nice features and finishes throughout their homes. And then boom, you go into the master bathroom. Let's look at this tub first, since it's the centerpiece. Really nice standalone tub. And then you will have dual vanities in here, as you do in pretty much every Perry home. And these are gonna be a little bit oversized. So some extra space on the right for storage, as well as a countertop space. Same thing over here. So each partner has their own space, which is amazing. They also like to do a lot of fixed windows in their bathrooms to give you some nice natural light. Obviously, if you wanted them frosted, you could do that similar to what they did. Over here is going to be the shower. So nice walk-in shower. This is gonna be foundation inset as well, which is always amazing. And I don't know why, but I've been loving this tile recently. It's just different. You don't see it too often. It looks really good. Oh, and I almost forgot, the diverter is on the right here. So you're not gonna get wet when you go in to turn the shower on. Just the little details, gotta love the little details. We do have multiple closets in here. So closet number one right here. In front is gonna be a linen. So let's show you the linen real quick. And then to my left is gonna be the last closet. And then I normally don't open these, but let's open them. This is your low voltage right here. This will come with every property. Depending on what's in there is obviously depending on how you build it out. So if you did put speakers throughout the house, whatever the case may be, that would be in here as well, or could be in here as well, depending on how you did it. But most of the time the modem goes in here, or the router, and all the Cat 6 Ethernet ports go there, so you have a central location. So I know I talk about it a lot, but I definitely wanted to make sure I showed it at least once, because I know I don't necessarily show it all the time, but I definitely want to talk about this too. Look at these windows. Just bringing in so much natural light. Most builders will put one, maybe two. They put 3 in here, which is just amazing. Let's give you orientation really quick. Through the breakfast nook into the kitchen, you have the living room here, dining over there on the left. Obviously, this is the back of the home, with the front of the home being over there. All in all, I thought this was an amazing property. Like I mentioned earlier, this is actually one of my favorite floor plans by Perry Homes, but I definitely want to hear what you guys have to say. So go down below, let me know what you liked, what you didn't like, and your favorite feature. Alongside that, if you're looking at making a move to the greater San Antonio area, I want to be your real estate resource of choice. You go down in the description or scan the QR code on screen. You'll see all my contact information. Please don't hesitate to reach out so I can be a resource for you and your family. If you want to see a video similar to this, click here and we'll see you on the next one.